Hey, welcome back. So if you noticed, last week and this week, I'm hosting some free PTE webinars, and I've been cutting out some of those webinars and I'm posting it on YouTube. The previous ones, I try to make it as short as possible because I didn't want to give you an extra long YouTube video to watch. But this one right here, what we did today for one of the techniques that would apply to the reading fill in the blanks, I try to cut as much as I could, but it's 30 minutes. Okay, it was an hour-long webinar, and I cut it down to 30 minutes. So I hope that's not too long for you. And either way, I've noticed that viewership for PT tutorials plummeted recently. So not many people are watching PT tutorials anyway. So if you're watching it, it's probably because you are still studying for it. And that's a good thing, because during this time, if we're not preparing and we think we can take a break, then when we get out of this quarantine and you're not well prepared or you haven't improved, then you can never ever say that you don't have time. You can only say you don't have discipline. Oh, let's get into this. I'm going to talk about sentence structure. Why? And this guy's banging on the hammer like he's making a beat for me. We want to know how sentences are structured because we will dissect, we will evaluate and see what is missing in that blank. Okay, when we're looking at the reading fill in the blanks. And by doing so, if you have a problem with the word, if there are words that you're not sure about, or if there's blanks that you're not sure about, we can try to use grammar to eliminate options. Grammar is not something you're going to learn overnight. It will take some time. I will use some names. I'll tell you what the names of the grammar rules are, and you can even look it up on YouTube. All right. I teach it in class, but if you don't want to join a class, you can feel free, YouTube it, and I'll show you some of those things today. I'll show you one part of it. And it's not a coincidence that we were looking at this last week, because it builds up to what we wanted to do this week. Last week, I was forcing you to write sentences. Why? Because I wanted you to know the rules of how sentences are structured, right? And I wanted you to be able to identify the different parts of speech, okay? We went over this, and we went over this one, right? And we identified what nouns were, what verbs were, what adjectives were. We didn't really work on adverbs, and we definitely talked about prepositions. So there was a reason why we were looking at that. And then I went over the basic structure of a sentence right here. The simple sentence, okay? So what can create a simple sentence? The noun, the verb, and then the noun, okay? That's also called the subject, verb, object. Have you guys heard that before? Yes or no? Subject, verb, object. Yeah, right? So we were working on that last week because it will help us. Now, adjectives are not mandatory. Adjectives don't always have to. I think I'm shouting again. I always have a habit of this. Let me move one so I don't shout. All right, so there we go. Now, adjectives don't always have to go into a sentence. It is there to give description. Okay? Now, the chances of you getting a fill-in-a-blank sentence that only has 3 words, subject, verb, object, highly unlikely, highly unlikely. So they're going to give you a longer form of a sentence. And we're only looking at one sentence. It's because once they link a sentence, it's going to be another simple sentence structured together in there. All right, so we just need to know how one sentence is structured. And so adjectives are optional. They don't have to be there. And then adverbs are the same. They're optional. They don't have to be there. And then the same thing here with prepositions. Again, prepositions do not link sentences. Please do not think a preposition will link 2 sentences together. Absolutely not. It's there to extend. So you add a little bit more of information. So I'm not going to go in too much detail on the simple sentence today. I want you to take a look at this, because there's going to be times where you might see a word, but you're not too familiar with this parts of speech stuff. You might not be familiar with what a noun is. You might not always be familiar with the word, especially sometimes one word can be used in many, many ways, right? It can be a noun, verb, or an adjective. I, I feel like I shouldn't say this, but you know me, I always like to say bad words. A good example of a word that can be everything is the F word in English. Everybody knows the F word, right? Oh, I love that word. Why? Because it can be a noun. If you put an ER at the end, it becomes a noun. The F word by itself is a verb, right? You can make the F word into an adjective by adding ing. Okay, so that word itself can be everything. So you gotta know what part of speech is. And this is one way that can help you if you're not too sure. What the hell am I talking about? Make a sentence by yourself. Okay, think of this. Either I have the plus the word, or I am plus the word, and I plus the word. Okay, this is one of the simple things that I can show you today to try to help you identify parts of speech. And when I say parts of speech, I'm talking about nouns, verbs, adjectives, like that. Okay, so when you have I plus a word, this one right here, if this one, when you say it and it just sounds good to you, that means that word is a noun. If you put it here and it sounds good to you, that means that word is an adjective. And if you put it here, it means it's a verb. Okay, so I'm going to demonstrate that for you. I just randomly thought of this word, guitars. I know for sure you know what a guitar is, all right? But it's not about that right now. I just want to show you this. First, you want to take that S away. All right, let's just take that S away. And then make that little sentence. Okay, of course, we're using words right now that we know. So guitar, I think you know. Which one sounds good to you? I have a guitar, I am guitar, and I guitar. I have a guitar sounds good, right? First one. Why does it sound good? Because it's a noun. It has to sound good there. You can't use guitar as an adjective. You can't use guitar as a verb. I guitar you. No, right? So this is a little way to try to identify what parts of speech you're dealing with. So you are correct. The first one is the correct one. Now, how about this word? Collects. Let's try this. I'm going to take that S away. All right, I'm going to take that S away and I will say, I have a collect, I am collect, and I collect. Which one sounds good to you? I collect. Okay. Why does it sound good? Because it's a verb. You cannot say I have a collect, right? Now, here's where English gets tricky because we do not trust English. Why do I say that? Because even though they give us rules, okay? Even though English gives us rules, there's always exceptions. So anytime I say this is a rule, don't think 100%. Think 90, 95%. All right. So even here, though, even though we say this is a word, boom, I added an ED. I added an ED. What does that mean? What does it sound like now? You see ED here? I'm not going to remove that. The S I will remove, but the ED I cannot remove because the ED will make a difference in the meaning of the word. So which one sounds good to you? I have a collected, I am collected, and I collected. When you have an ED, when you have an ED, it changes things because a verb can be changed into a noun and an adjective. Did you know that? When you have a verb that becomes an ED, of course, yes, it can be the past tense, but it can also become an adjective by adding the ED. If you add ing, it can also be an adjective. If you add ing to a verb, it can also become a noun. That means you got to get comfortable, read the sentence, know what they're talking about. Because just by this right here, you'll know, okay, I have two options. I have a verb and I have an adjective. So that means if you know the sentence is looking for a noun, please don't look at this word. You have no reason to be wasting your time on this word. Next, let's look at this word. Terrible. You probably already know this word. I'm pretty sure you do. Now, I'm going to put this in here. I have a terrible. That's it. Finished. I didn't say anything else. I just said I have a terrible. I am terrible and I terrible. I'm pretty sure you guys all know this. It's the second one. So I didn't use words that were too difficult. I'm pretty sure you knew most of these words. So that's one way you can check parts of speech for words that you do know. There's going to be times when you come around to a word where you don't know. That's going to depend on how you prepare. But there's also ways to identify parts of speech that way, though. Okay, I won't go into that today, but there are ways to identify a noun, verb, or an adjective without knowing what the word means. Okay, but this is for when you do know the word, but you're not familiar with parts of speech, because you do not want to look for words that don't belong there. So let's take a look at this right here, right here. I gave you the rules right on top. Okay, this is a rule. This is the rule to establish simple sentence. Now, I didn't put an adverb in here. I just put in everything except for the adverbs, except for the conjunctions, except for linking words, because we're looking at one sentence only. All right, because you see here, they have a linking word. We're only going to use that as a clue to help us identify tenses. But if you look, 1, 2, it's two separate sentences, but they got to follow the same rules. Now, if you take a look at this right here, what parts of speech is this? It's a noun. Good job. It's a noun. What about this right here? What kind of word is had? Had. Had is a verb. Very good. Had is a verb. Okay? So we have a verb. We find the verb because in one sentence, one verb. Just one. Ooh, no. All right? Verb is right here. And then we have a noun. What's going to go before that? What's missing, ladies and gentlemen? We found the verb. We found the noun. What's missing? Adjective. Adjective. All right. So when you're doing that, we want to know that we're going to be looking for adjectives. So sometimes the fill in of blanks, what, you start with 7 or 8 blanks? 7 or 8 options. Please don't be looking at every single one of them. Save time. Find the verb. All right. So now, if you know what verbs are, find the answer. I'm sorry, adjective. We're looking for an adjective. Sorry. What's the answer? External. External. Okay. Very good. Very good. So we probably can answer this without even applying that. Okay. You can probably answer. If I had just shown you this, you most likely you'll answer it correctly. But I always tell my class that my job is not here just to tell you you answer right or wrong. I want to explain why your answers are right. So that's why I asked you to do that first. I'm going to change something after this. Now, we have a the right here. The is an article. And the are all the same. You know what that is going to be in front of. But this right here, right? Age, preposition. So what does that mean? We got a preposition. What do you think this is? Noun. What's going to go here? Beautiful, beautiful. Adjectives, adjectives. Which one is the adjective? So first, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, a 1, 2, chicka, chicka, 1, 2, 1, 2. This one is tricky. That's why I put it here. Everybody put this one, approximated, right? The answer is approximate. Approximate is the adjective. If you can find the word that's the original form. So, for example, approximate, it can be a verb and a noun. Then you would take, what the hell did I just say? Sorry. You see, I'm confused myself. If approximate can be the adjective and the verb, you're not going to make the verb into the adjective. You would just take the adjective form. Approximate is that. I'll give you another example. Average. I like to use this one. Average. What parts of speech is average? A-V-E-R-A-G-E. This word. What parts of speech is that? Average. Adjective, noun. Okay, so you see both. Oh, both. Dimitri said both. How about this though? Let me give you some examples. Average speed. Hey, look at that. That's an adjective, right? The average speed of a human is very slow. Or of Sonny is very slow. So that's an adjective, okay? How about my average in school sucks? My average in school sucks. My point average, right? That's a noun, right? There you go. That's both, right? Now, ladies and gentlemen, how about this sentence? Tell me what this is. I average 5 points a game. Hey, look at that. It's all three. You have the word average, that's all three, noun, verb, and adjective. I call that the joker. Okay? One word can be all of them. Now, if I need average to be an adjective, am I going to say averaged? Am I going to put averaged as an average adjective? Or can I just say average as the adjective? No, right? No, you just take average because it's already an adjective form. So here, approximate can be a verb and an adjective. We're not going to go out of our way to make it ed, to make it adjective, when it is already an adjective form. Does that make sense, ladies and gentlemen? We haven't done this one yet. This is why we're talking about it. All right, so to. Let's take a look at to. What comes after that? Good. What kind of verb? You guys all said verb. Oh, not all, but a good amount of you said verbs. What kind of verb? Simple? Yes, you can say simple, but technically simple means you can put an S on it. Can we put an S on the verb? Present's the same thing. The term is going to be called a base verb, or some people call it the infinitive. The infinitive. There you go, right? And I want to make sure I point that out to you, because you might think, oh, it's a verb, so it's a verb. No, it's not. When you have the verb right here, right? This tells you the tense. What tense is this? Future, but it's still a verb, right? It's future tense. It is a verb. So that tells you this is the verb. Then why do we have another verb here? We don't. When you have a to plus V, it becomes a noun. Most of the time, it becomes the noun. Maybe you can turn it into something else like an adjective, but it's going to be a noun, right? And the same thing goes with gerunds. Gerunds. What the hell is a gerund? You don't need to know the names. But that's a verb ing. All right, so it's a verb plus verb ing. What the hell? So is that two verbs? No. The second one becomes the noun. Remember I said the verb ing can also be a noun? Yeah. Okay? So this I will show you in a second. And then this is verb plus to plus verb right here. Okay? And then there's another way to use verb ing, and that is after a is, am, are, was, were. That's the be verbs, right? So let me just show that to you right now. So in this situation here, I like swimming. Is swimming a verb? Yes or no? Nope. Swimming is not a verb. Swimming is the noun. Swimming is that thing that you like, right? If I just put pizza there, wouldn't it be the same? If I say I like pizza, that's a thing, right? Well, that's food. So that's a thing. That's a noun. So I like swimming is the same. Swimming is not a verb here. That's what I mean by when you use verb ing, this verb ing is not a verb. It's a noun. Okay? And then same thing right here. I like to swim, right? To swim here is not a verb. Like is the verb. Now keep in mind, I use this as an example. Oops. I use this as an example because not all verbs, this is a whole nother rule here. You don't need to talk about it today. But this, I'll explain. Oops, what the hell? Not all verbs are going to be able to do both. Okay? Not all verbs can have VING and to plus V. That's something you have to learn on your own. Okay? But I'm just showing you both here, and they both mean the same thing. All right? But not all of them are going to be like that. Now here is the present continuous. I am swimming. Is swimming a verb here? Swimming is a verb. Okay? Swimming is a verb. And it tells you something. This tells you something. When am I doing it? In the past, in the future, or right now? Right now. Okay? Good. Very good. Okay? It means right now. Because oftentimes people think present tense means right now. I swim does not mean right now. I swim means always. When you want to say right now, you will use ing. Okay? So that's that. What is my answer? Yes, very good. I think everybody's picking the right one. Well, one person spelled it wrong, but that's okay. Okay? Verify. That is your verb. Okay? There you go. Well done. All right? So again, through these exercises, you might be able to just pick the answer by looking at it. Well, that's always option one. I always tell my students that's option one because I need you to use your existing English knowledge, vocabulary, what you're used to, whatever sounds good to you, just pick it. But in the time where you are confused, let's eliminate options. Now, I've talked about this before briefly on YouTube. Okay, so this one right here, what is the answer? Suffered. All right. Good. Now, I want to jump to this one and tell me what parts of speech will go in here. Don't give me the answer. Give me the parts of speech. Adverb? No. I'll show you in a second. Now, let's identify these parts of speech. Okay, so now you see you guys are putting nouns. Ooh. Dylan. Very good. Let's take a look. I identified the parts of speech for you, right? I identified the parts of speech. Now, I want to show you something. When you look at this word right here, what kind of word is this? Noun, okay? Especially if it has the S on it, that is the noun. That's the last one. That means this one cannot be a noun, right? Even though we have a preposition right here, we usually have a noun in front, right? But this years gave it away. Years is that noun, okay? Now, look at this. What is this? Preposition. Very good. What cannot come after a preposition? Yes, there you go. Remember I said a preposition does not link a sentence? That means a verb does not come after a preposition. Well, shit, we just eliminated most of our answers. You see that at the bottom? The verbs are gone. The nouns are gone. All we're left with is conjunctions. Okay? We only have two options. And this right here, before you even tell me the answer, that of is a hell of a thing. Prepositions are so important. We'll be talking about that tomorrow. It is not there for you to think of it as a stop sign. For some strange reason, people love to read up to the preposition and not read the preposition. Hell no. The preposition is the clue. So if you don't read anything else, don't read anything else. We have two options right now. No verbs, no nouns. Read the two options and tell me which one just sounds magical with the of, right? Does that work? Because never in your life did you hear someone say while of, right? While of just doesn't work. But because of, you probably hear it every day. And that is the answer, right? So I didn't want to show you, I didn't want you to just get the answer. I wanted you to see like how the sentence can prove to you that is the answer. Okay, and you can eliminate options to know. No nouns can go here because of this right here, and no verbs can go there because of that preposition. Then you only had two options. And then they gave you a preposition to prove that answer. Oh my goodness, they were trying to help you there. What parts of speech do we need here? Can you guys hear that? Okay, somebody's trying to be a DJ outside. Yes, we need a verb right here. Do we need present tense or past tense? Because over here you pick suffered, but here, do we know if it's present tense or past tense? Present. We know it's present because there's no reference to the past. There's no reference to the past, okay? Now, how many options do we have for present? Two options, okay? When it comes down to two options, I want you guys to check something for me, okay? When it comes down to two options, a lot of times you can try to apply positive and negative, all right? Now, when you look at the two options, endures and remains, you might not know what both words mean. Let's just pretend we know only this word because endures might be hard for some people. In your opinion, when you see the word remains, does that sound like a positive, neutral, or negative word? Neutral. Very good. Neutral or positive is usually the same, so it doesn't matter if you feel neutral. As long as we don't have anybody that say negative, then that means this will be your negative, okay? This will be your negative. Then let's take a look at this right here and see if we can find any words in that sentence that is a negative reference. Do you see any negative words in there? Yes or no? None. Okay, no. Especially when you say wealthiest. I don't think anybody would be angry to hear that. So if we don't have any negative words, let's just go with remains. Okay, so again, we try to prove the answer, not just trying to pick the answer, right? Of course, on the example, on the real exam, you don't have time to do that. It's when you're practicing, you want to be faster and faster because I can apply this when I do the exam. I don't always have to, but I can when it's not certain, okay? Now, lastly here, African is an adjective, right? African is an adjective. What comes at the end? What parts of speech do we need? We need a noun, right? How many options do you have? Just one. Sometimes you only actually have one option, okay? So you want to be able to eliminate it. Any questions for what we just looked at, ladies and gentlemen? All right, there you have it. I hope you found the information helpful, but honestly, I don't even know if you made it this far. So you're probably not even seeing what I got to say right now. But In case you found it helpful, please remember to check out my other tutorials. Once again, my name is Sonny, and this is Sonny English. Remember to hit that subscribe button because, again, I provide real tips and tricks on how to get that PTE score. Remember also to like and comment below, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.